Hello and welcome to another episode of the Please Don't Cancel This podcast, starring your hosts, Up Next Joe, my two co-hosts, Brandon and Amir. Introduce yourselves.
Yo, it's your boy Amir, El Presidente, here to pod today. I mean, look at me. I'm looking dapper. Brandon came in this little cute ass button up, trying to flex
You
on
already
the
know, feel me? You feel me? And the wave is spinning a little bit. They're not there yet, but they get there. You feel me?
This is a modern look, nigga. Not no big ass collar. This is subtle. You know what I mean? Chain out. You know what I mean?
All
All right. So we got my man here. We got JJG. We got John Galloway Jr., the most certified in Beacon. This is the future mayor of Beacon. John.
Yo, what's up, y'all? As you just said, my name is John Galloway. I'm happy to be here on the Please Don't Cancel Us podcast, and don't let that go over your head, because I already feel this is a free space. I'm gonna be able to just talk in here and do what I do. I've been watching y'all for a while, ever since Amir introduced it to me. So I'm really excited to be here. I fuck with y'all. I fuck with what y'all talk about and how it's just so free up here. And there's like there's boundaries, but there's like no boundary. Like, you know what I mean? You can kind of just put whatever you feel out there, and
Pop your shit, bro. Say what you got to say. This is the platform.
I love that. I love that.
Cry?
Nah, not right now. I was crying earlier.
Not right now.
You need to cry on the pod, but let's get into it, John. Who are you? Like,
yo, myself, I would describe myself as just somebody that's trying to heal the world, man. And that's just my mission with everything I do. I'm just trying to heal the world. I just believe that and push for a world that we can all live together and help each other and just create a better aura. Like, you know what I mean? I believe in spirituality and energies, and just like, if you're able to control who you are and what you put out into the world, then that just tells me about who you are. You know what I mean? Because we know people that put, bad juju into the world, and just around them, their aura, everything about them is just negative. And then we know people that are, positive, do positive things, and positive things happen to them. And I'm just one of those people that believe in that real hard. So like, that's me. That's who I am. And I'm also a school board member for the Beacon City School District. And also haven't been doing work lately, but I'm a part of Melanin Unchained. I'm a part of the label. I've really been taking some personal time to get myself together, so my cup isn't half full when I'm doing these activities. But yeah, man, that's just who I am. I'm about the community and just doing what I say I'm gonna do.
John, all that shit sound good, bro. But like, why do you care about people? Like, niggas don't give a fuck about us. Like,
well, like, I mean, yo, bro, I'm just not that type of dude, bro. Like, you know me, we've clicked since we first met, and like, I'm just not that type of dude. I believe love always wins, and that's just what I stand by. Like, no matter what, like, I'm not a hater. I've never been a hater, never will be a hater. I love seeing people win. I love winning. I love being a part of winning. You know what I mean? It's just who I am. Like, I can't see myself putting negative energy out there to the world. It's just like, it's just not for me. I got a vision. You know what I mean? And I'm really, really keen on making sure like that vision comes to fruition.
Yeah.
Have you always been a visionary like that?
What was that?
Have you always been a visionary like that?
Yo, listen, like through my life experiences, this part of me didn't hit until I was like, I want to say 17, where I really started feeling like this. And then it took a while to get to the point of being confident about it and just being like, yo, this is just me. This is who I am. Growing up, I had some real personal things happen to me. Like, I was sexually abused. I went through a stabbing through my school district and police system that, it was mishandled. So, like, mentally, I was just not okay. I didn't seek the help, but, I got to a point on my own where I'm just good. You know what I mean? Where, like, it was tough to go through because there's so many different parts of you that just feel like shameful or or why me. That was me for a while, just that negative person. Why me? You know, why is God making sure this isn't happening? Like those kind of thoughts is real negative. But then when I turned 17, I just started to slowly break out of that. And now I'm here, you know, and I'm just happy, positive all the time, because I just realized, like, from 12 to 17, that's what I was doing. And I did nothing with my life. You know, like I made it out of high school and things like that, but I didn't really do much with my life. And I was just like, I got to change this up. If I don't change this up, I'm never going to go anywhere.
Right.
I just want to give you your flowers, bro, because like when we connected, like it was like that, like, and then we just been giving each other love. Like every dub you get, I'm giving you love. Every dub I get, you giving me love. So I just, when you a real solid dude, you everything you just said is real, and I believe in. I've seen it. So I want to give you your flowers for that.
You already did. Appreciate it.
So why do you feel like it was important for you to run for school board?
There's multiple reasons, but I would say like the major reasons is, like I said, like I went through a stabbing incident within my school district, and they mishandled that. And I truly believe there's a million John Galloways out there. People have been through these situations, and they need to be represented. And we are really underrepresented when it comes to education, especially. So that was one of the main reasons. Like, if you look at it at any school board, well, you can use mine for example. Before I got there, it was all white, and this is no hate towards them, but it's just like, come on, like clearly you ain't really gunning for nobody else if your board is all white.
Right.
Like, let's just get like that out the way, because like people try to fight it and argue it, but like, come on, you need different representation up there. You need black men, you need black women, you need Asian women, you need, like, you know, you need a very diverse board to handle a whole entire diverse school district. It's just how I think it should be. So that's one reason why I ran. And then the second reason was, you know, this was personal because of the stabbing thing. And like, it's just too personal. Like, it was just a personal, like, I need to step into this position so that I can be the right representation for my city. That's really what it all boils down to.
Would you say that you kind of viewed it as like a calling, like how when everything happened from 12 to 17, like the way that it played out, like now that you're an adult, you're like, all right, now that I have the ability to make a change, like I'm about to go in there and make the change.
Yeah. Like I met with Ali. He's been a mentor of mine since I was like 9 years old. So we've seen the seat open up. And it's just like, you know, we're chatting and we talked about it. And it's like, you know, I need to do something. I was originally going to run for city council, but I felt like that was going to be too easy for me because I'm really, really known in my city. It's not like a cocky, like, I'm going to get in there and do my thing. It's just the simple fact that I was going to win. Like, I knew that I was going to win. So with the school board, it's like, you know, I love kids. I love education. And I believe that I can be the leading change to changing our entire school district. So like we're talking, and we just decided that, you know, city council is cool, but also why is nobody over here? Why is nobody on the school board? You know, kind of thing. Like somebody needs to take up that space. City council, you know, like some people did wake up in my city after the George Floyd thing. And some people are running. So it was just like, you know, how about I turn my attention over here? And I did, and it just happened to work out, man. And I couldn't be happier.
Awesome. So when you put Jay-Z in the history book, bro.
You said who?
Jay-Z. But I'm leading to CRS type stuff. Can you explain what that is? And is that something you're fighting for? Yeah.
Culture responsive framework is like, for the terms of the people, I would say, you know how you have economics classes and you talk about all these rich people that are successful, and we never talked about the most known man in New York, and I don't get it. Like, you just brought him up, but Jay-Z is the mecca of entrepreneur. Like, and we've never heard anybody be like, hey, like, this is who we're talking about today. Never watched a documentary on him in class. Nothing. He's not really a role model in the education system, and he made it out of where everybody is. So like it's just simple things like that that can be implemented into curriculums at any point in time. Like there's no reason why it shouldn't be happening. We know the reason why it's happening, but I'm 100% pushing for it because I think that it can help on a humility level. Like, yeah, kids need to be educated on this, but also it's just how they're gonna feel about others over time. Like, where somebody who's white who was taught to be racist and stay away from black people or Asian people, etc., are now learning who they really are and what the world is really like outside of their little bubble that their parents kept them in, and then turning into a better person and just realizing that this is not the right way to be. Like I think it's really that deeply rooted, especially in the education system.
Do you feel like school is like a curtain? Like it's supposed to get you ready for the real world, but I always saw school as um a fantasy world. Like, you're gonna leave and it gives you this model of what, how you want to structure your life. However, you mentioned Jay-Z, he's not popular in the school system. He didn't do it the way they teach. He was essentially a drug dealer at a certain age and made it out of that and made his life into something else, becoming an entrepreneur. But school doesn't really teach you to be an entrepreneur. It teaches you to be a worker. Do you see yourself trying to push to tell kids, like, there are multiple routes and there are multiple ways you can take things. There are multiple positives that can come from mistakes. Like, how do you see yourself possibly making that change?
I see myself making that change. It is difficult. It's a tight line to walk because when you're on the board, in which I've learned on multiple different occasions, you have to abide by the board. Like, meaning, like, if I go speak out about something, education-wise, in a place where I'm representing the board, I got to watch what I say. I got to watch what I do, kind of thing. I have to speak with them first and let them know what I got going on, and then I can go speak out. But who I am as a person, that's not what I want to do. You know what I mean? That's more than likely, that's not what I'm going to do. Like, for example, we just did a graduation Friday, and one day I would definitely like to give a speech, and a couple of teachers definitely asked, can you come in and talk to the class? And it's like, my thing is, I stand with you when what you said. Like, I don't really believe that, like, I have to go to school and I have to go to college and I have to get a job. I don't believe that you have to take that exact route for your life to be successful. Like, I did not go to college. I wanted to go to college, but I didn't go. And I'm in my own apartment and I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? And there's people that went to college that aren't in their own apartments and are in debt now. Like, you know what I mean? And that was my thing, is like, I don't think I should have to go to college and be in debt after I leave. Like, we went to high school and we didn't have to pay, and we got our education, the same education as everybody else. And I just feel like it should be the same way when it comes to a higher education. Like, you can't it's kind of like you're ruining dreams, in my opinion. Like, this is what I want to do in my life, et cetera, and then you go and get your degree, and then you get that job that you thought about and dreamt about your whole life, and you're in debt $150,000, and you can't even focus on enjoying it because of that anxiety of the fact that you are in debt, like that much money, just because you wanted to go to college. Like, so me personally, I'm 100% pushing the fact that there's other avenues like trade, writing. Even like if kids want to be rappers, I'm still pushing you to be. If that's your real dream and that's what you want to do, there's routes to go down to go get it done. Like, there really is. It's just a simple fact. Are you going to push these kids to chase their dreams, or are you going to push them into the assembly line, like to do the same thing as everybody else?
Yeah, let me go real quick. I kind of got a two-part question for you. So I kind of want to hear first, what's your experience of being really like the first like not the first, but like one of the few diverse people that was on originally an all-white board. Like, what is that like for you?
Going into it, I was definitely mentored in a fashion where they're letting me know that these people don't like you, and they aren't really for black people or minorities. And I was paranoid. Like, I was really paranoid. I feel like I had to watch what I say. I felt like they were watching what they were saying. Like, it was very like chess-like for like the first 6 months, like is what it felt like. But where I'm at now, I just won my election and by landslide, by the way. Both votes. But
he said by landslide. Was he
but now everything is like fake peace right now. Like I feel like we're going into this new school year where everybody's gonna be coming back to school from COVID, and that's everybody's focus right now is just making sure that we can give them the best education that we can, like due to the circumstances. So I've had bad blood with a few on the road to get there, but now that I'm here, there's no bad blood. Like we're here to do the work. So it's not that bad. At first, it was like seriously like paranoid and like making me like I even talked to Amir Ahmad about it before. Like it's just like I was even scared to say certain things. Like you know what I mean. And now I'm at a place where I'm confident and I'm standing on my own 2 feet, and I could just go. Like you know, so it feels way better now than it did when I first got on.
Mhm.
Okay. And the second question I had is, what advice would you give to, I guess I'll say a young ethnic person growing up in Beacon? You know what I'm saying? That after all the things that you've gone through between the ages of 12 and 17, and now here you are, you found this positive spirituality about you. You know what I'm saying? You're like, you're winning. Honestly, you're winning. You found a way to win amongst a situation where plenty of people could have just folded. So what advice would you give to a young person growing up in your area?
I would definitely say not to follow some of the things that I did. Like, for example, like, I just said on here that I didn't do any therapy. I would definitely jump into some therapy and really, because it'll help you find yourself. And that's what you have to do first. Like, you really have to find yourself. Because, when you're a teenager, you're trying to be like your friend. You're trying to be like this friend. Like, you're just trying to get in where you fit in kind of thing, which is not technically not what you're doing, but like really just focus on yourself and find yourself. And then after that, continue to do what you have to do to love yourself so that you could just stay on course. Like I don't have good days every day, but I always keep my mind afloat no matter what. Like, you know what I mean? No matter what, I always look around this apartment, even though it's small, it's just like, yo, I got a roof over my head. I got money in my pocket. I'm okay. Like, you know what I mean? Things can be worse. Is what I would tell them is like to always remember things could be worse and just to keep going no matter what.
Amir, you got a question or can I?
Go ahead. I mean, yeah, go ahead. I want you to ask because me and him have a conversation all the time.
So you just said you're probably the first ethnic person on the board, and I want to know how that feels now working with them. I had an experience with a white lady at my job the other day, and as I got older, I'm more aware. She used a reference, and not to me, but just related to someone who was working and how the managers was going to crack the whip on him, make him work harder. I speak to this lady a lot. I know she's not racist at all, but like I know there's a lack of awareness in situational conversations or situations where you don't use or say certain things, and a board that lacks representation for minorities. Now that you're comfortable, you feel like you have your own feet, you're standing. Does it feel like it's more so that it could be maybe that they aren't racist and don't care, but are unaware of the struggles that other people have, and that what people need is someone to kind of put them in check and let them know, like, hey, like this is what goes on? Do you feel like there's some type of collaboration and genuine care when you bring up these situations, or do you feel like there was a moments of brushing it under the rug and genuine care?
I think that it was definitely from being around them, that it was definitely just genuinely that nobody really thought that this was an issue. Like before George Floyd was murdered, like people like to say that was the last straw for everybody and things like that. Like, well, prior to that, I think that they were just genuinely thinking that things like, what's the word I'm looking for? White privilege is not real. Like literally them thinking in their heads, like everybody's the same, just because of where we are as a society today, where there is somewhat of a fair route, somewhat. but not like as it should be. You know what I mean? And I just genuinely, in my opinion, with the people that I'm working with, I think they just genuinely just did not think like that.
Mm.
And they have to be caught up. Like, and that's where I come in, where like, you know, where even I can keep using myself as an example. Like I was literally stabbed and you did nothing about it. Like, just use that example. Like, what if I was your kid? What would you have done, et cetera, et cetera? That's how we have to be for everybody.
Yes.
Like, act as if each student is my kid. Like, I tell people all the time, you want to be a teacher, doctor, psychiatrist, psychologist, you have lives in your hands. And you really have to act like you have lives in your hands.
It's not just a job, exactly. Got it, man.
My question to you, John, is you won by a landslide, dog. Like, you really won. So, like, how is your neighborhood and other neighborhoods in Beacon like yours accepting you now?
Yo, I've been accepted since the appointment process. Like, I was appointed and then I won the election. After the appointment, I was immediately embraced, like immediately, like even to the point where I'm in Walmart shopping, you know what I mean? And people I don't know are coming up to me like, hey, congratulations, etc. And it's just like that almost everywhere I go, you know what I mean? Where somebody's telling me, I love what you're doing, please keep going. It's not every single day, but it's literally like, I would say about 40% of the time that I'm out somewhere in Beacon, somebody is telling me, please keep going, you're inspiring, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm accepted, it's like literally immensely. Like, it's like, it feels great to know that people are now paying attention to this topic, because like this Beacon Board of Education stuff was not popular. Like it's kind of still not, but it's a little popular now because it's like, hey, I know him. So now that's somebody that I can talk to about this and get educated on it.
Mm-hmm. Do you
You're making
feel?
it cool. Making it cool, though.
Do you
Go ahead.
feel, or did you feel a sense of pressure once you started to notice the embracement and people kind of recognizing you specifically? Like, hey, like this is, you know, maybe a start of a change. Did you feel like you needed to definitely make sure that you are, I guess, I guess pretty much making shit happen? Did you feel like you needed to do that?
I feel like I didn't feel like that at first, but I feel like that now. Like at first, I was kind of just excited to be there and take up that space and just be able to do this and show kids that you can grow up and do this kind of stuff. Like nobody from our neighborhood really tried to jump into this kind of shit because like we were always told it's just not for us, or you need to do something else, like play basketball or play a sport. You know, like it's just like I said, it's not a popular topic. And now that it's becoming somewhat of a popular topic, I'm now feeling that pressure to get shit done, which is keeping me going. It's in a positive way. It's not in a negative way. The pressure is definitely there because now I'm here. So now I have to showcase what I'm going to do to keep going and to keep inspiring people to follow in my footsteps. I like basically I got to put my breadcrumbs down.
What is your ultimate goal, like as far as what you see at the finish line when it's all said and done, your imprint on this? How do you see it?
When it's all said and done, I would like to be one of the reasons why CRS is in our entire curriculum in the whole entire district from kindergarten to now. Like for example, like leading up to the George Floyd murder, they are taking away things like criminal justice classes and things like that. So now those are things that I want to bring back to the table, because now you need to teach that in a way where we are talking about what we're dealing with on an everyday basis when it comes to the police killing unarmed people and things like that. And just expressing the fact that it's wrong and what needs to be done and what could have been done. Like, you know what I mean? Just showing the real shit, like, in my opinion. Like, people, there's kids that are growing up that, like, one, don't even know what's going on, that are being blinded from it, like, shying away from it, is what I mean. Like, you know, the parents aren't even having conversations with their children, letting them know that this is going on. And it just needs to be the trending topic right now, in my opinion. So when I'm done, all said and done, I think that I just want to bring everything to the education to make it equal when it's all said and done.
I want to hear your standpoint on spirituality and mental health in the school system. Do you believe that is something that spirituality, like, or like the act of like carrying positivity in negative situations and, like, you know what I'm saying, keeping tabs on your mental health, do you feel like those are things that should be like implemented into the schools? Because a lot of people feel like it should be kept out.
I feel like it should be implemented because there's kids at home that have parents that don't talk about this stuff. Like, and it's extremely common. And I can understand that people think that it's not a place for education, but realistically, I think that it is, because if there, how many kids do we know, like all of us, that had it terrible at home and didn't make it out, or they're in jail, or they're like living on the street? You know what I mean? We all know somebody that is dealing with that kind of situation because they weren't in the proper care. So, like, I believe when it comes to education and the administration, like if you have a job at a school, you have a child's life in your hands. Like if a shooter comes into the school, you're there to protect them and make sure nothing happens to them. You need to have the same efforts when it comes to the mind, body, and soul too. Like I can go really deep into it. Like I think that we should be teaching kids how to grow plants, how to grow food, how to grow, like, it goes deep with me. It goes really deep. I think that, but yes, I think that we should do spirituality and mental health in schools.
Awesome.
I think that's big. What you just said, teaching people how to be able to provide, how to plant, basic stuff, basic things that we should all know how to do. At the end of the day, money is a good. I guess money kind of ruined everything, but all those services are all things that we did for each other. And we could all provide for each other. Now, no one really can do anything for anyone. And I think that's a big reason why when you talk about kids graduating or people going through the school system, and when they're done, they're lost, because if you can't do anything and you went to school, all you knew how to do was try to work for someone else, and now you can't provide for yourself. What do you do in that situation? Now you're lost. Why do you think that these things aren't taught? Or why do you think that they don't want to teach kids how to do for themselves?
In my opinion, it's because there's people who are selfish in high position, like in positions of high power. Like if I could have run my own school, that's just what it would be. We're teaching people how to better themselves. We're teaching them how to, like for example, Elon Musk allegedly, I don't know if this is true, I read an article about it. He's talking about opening his own school and having no grades, like no K through 12, no nothing. They're going to be doing what they want to do. Like whatever it is that they love that they do, that's what they're going to be doing. And I think the cap is at 12 students right now, I believe. And I don't agree with what he's saying fully without the K through 12, but I do agree with the fact that like he's teaching kids to do what they love and is going to be teaching them basic needs. Because like you just said, when you get out of high school, you're completely lost. Like with you guys right now, I don't know if you guys were all lost. Like, when you got out of high school, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? But like 4 or 5 years ago, did you think you're going to be sitting here doing a podcast?
Not at all.
You know what I mean? So like, and it really goes that deep. And like, if you're able to teach kids these kind of basic needs and then grow with it, like it's just like what can be the outcome? You can only be optimistic about it.
I think it kind of shows you that like schools aren't really a place that are supposed to, like, they're not places that are meant to cultivate young minds and to like really like get them to really like think forward. It's really just to get them to think, like, they would keep them inside the box, like Brandon was saying. Everybody goes to school not to become the best version of themselves. They go to school to become the best worker. And a lot of people that work inside schools, they don't carry the same urgency that you carry, John, about the fact that, like, yes, these are students. These are young children. Like, I have a direct impact on their lives. And when they are in my facility, when they're in my classroom, they need to be top priority, getting the top-notch education. You know what I'm saying? I just don't feel like there's just that sense of urgency inside the schools that like allow like the cultivating of young minds to like progress the way that it needs to.
I ain't even gonna lie. My little brag, you know what I mean? I think my freshman year of high school, I actually wanted to do a podcast. I got the promotional flyer I could pull up, but like I could just imagine, like for real, I still got it, like for proof. But I could just imagine if there was a way for me to learn about that shit back then, or there's something in school that I could learn to actually be a podcaster. Because if that's the case, I'd have been a podcaster for like 7 years now, and like I would have been a professional now. So like that's major.
I hear what you're saying 100%, but like that makes me feel like you would be categorized as the 1%er because this is what you've been wanting to do. You know what I mean? And you, in my opinion, but that's my definition of 1%er is like everybody that said, yo, man, fuck this, I'm not going to school, et cetera, this is what I'm going to do, and became successful with it. Like 1%er, like this is what you want to do in 9th grade, you here. Like people may not think that you're here because you're not on this huge platform and getting paid for it, but you did what you.
Nigga froze again.
I was over here freezing. I can't even say shit to him.
I gotta pull it up. I'll send it in the chat. Podcast promo flyer. We shooting episodes every Wednesday and Thursday, or dropping episodes every Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know how that should work.
That shit super froze.
I think it's going well though. I like how it's flowing right now.
Definitely we in full interview mode. Oh.
Come back in. Which I think so far.
I say like 2-3 more questions that we could wrap it on up.
Definitely want to get.
I'm happy y'all jumped in.
Ask what his zodiac sign is.
Huh?
Ask what his zodiac sign is.
What's that got to do with anything?
I just want the way he's talking.
Yo,
y'all know his zodiac sign?
Do I know my zodiac sign?
Oh, John's.
John, you know John's birthday?
Yeah. Yo, my fault, yo. Like, just real quick, are y'all gonna be able to like, y'all do like cut scenes and things like that, and like edit it out and stuff?
Yeah.
All right, my fault, bro. My fault.
That's the fucking technical part of the shit that makes it annoying.
It's Optimum Online, bro. Beacon did this deal where they were Optimum for 10 years. They signed it like 5 years ago. So like, this shit is just whack, yo. This shit is just whack. But where was we at though?
The last question I asked you was how you felt about creativity inside the schools. Like, what do you feel?
Like, you know, I think that it can get real creative. You know what I mean? Like, and it doesn't, and it needs to. Like, I can give you an experience of my teacher, Miss Orgemma. She played "How to Love" for us by Lil Wayne, and we had to write about how this woman. I don't know if you guys seen the music video, but she goes through life, you know, like really having no father. She was molested. And she never knew how to really love anybody and was just loving the wrong people. And then she ended up getting AIDS. And those are things that are like real life situations. Like, and this can happen at any point. And she got in trouble for it. And she got in trouble for like showing us the video and having us write about this. And those are one of the experiences that I like remember word for word, vision for vision. Like I could literally envision it. Like it's something that stuck with me because these are things that just are not talked about in education, and you can get that creative with it. Like everybody hates when teachers just bring in, oh, we're gonna watch a movie today, but like when you really dive deep into the meaning of the movie and things like that and what it means to you and how you're interpreting it, it brings out the creativity in a child. Like you could have inspired that child to write a screenplay because they sat down and they wrote about how they felt about this, how they thought it should have went, or what it what it really meant. Like if this is like a mystery hit movie or something like that, and it was left like untold, like what do you think happened? Like you can just inspire kids by almost doing damn near anything, I feel like. And our school system would just rather put pen and paper in front of us and tell us to work and tell us that we don't pass a Regents exam, we're not getting a diploma, because that's what matters.
Most to you because they use like a medium that you understood. Like, do you listen to hip hop music? I take it.
Yeah, but I listen to all types though. But I do predominantly listen to.
So do you think it was the fact that like it was Lil Wayne and it was like you were able to like relate to, you know what I'm saying? It was one, a voice that you recognized, and it was a two, a real life situation that you may or may not run into at some point in your life. Hopefully
right.
Not.
This is exactly what it was. Like, it's a simple fact that my teacher put on a Lil Wayne video in school instead of having us talk about abs and verbs, like, you know, like verbs and nouns and shit. Like, she did something different and had us write about it. And it's still English, it's writing. So it's still English. Like, it's culture responsive. Like, it literally drew me in and made me want to do it. And that's just what we got to do. That's where the creativity comes in, and that's just how the creativity needs to be.
Imagine if like a teacher like really played a Tony E video or Keith's video, like really breaking it down and like rhyme schemes and things like that. And maybe in the English class, like these motherfuckers from the neighborhood, like I think that would have like.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. And like, you know what? We live in a city where they don't really glorify them for who they are as they truly should be. But you're right. That something like that needs to happen. You know what I mean? And I don't know where my life is going. Who knows? Like, I've always wanted to teach kids and things like that. But I am waiting because I am chasing a dream right now. But, you know, if that doesn't work out and I could take 4 years and go to college and become a teacher, I would do it. And that's something that I would do. And it's like, what are you going to say to me? You're going to say to me that, oh, there was cursing in this video, so it's inappropriate. Instead of glorifying the fact that these two kids that were kids went to the school and they chased their dream, and this is what they're doing. Like, it's really whatever you want to focus on and whatever you believe. Like, I truly believe that the people that came up before us fell for the bullshit. You know what I mean? And like, our generation is not with this anymore. I truly believe that like our generation is going to do the work that's going to save the world.
Right.
Any last questions?
Now, I just wanted to ask, like, do you feel like the system, as far as the school system, just needs to be like torn down and built back up from the roots? Because I almost feel like school is like a brainwash. Like, you know, you mold kids into this idea, and when they deviate, it's like this kid is a trouble. He's a troublemaker. Or this kid, you know, he's never going to learn. If you're not good with your grades, but you're good, like Joe said, creativity. Like, you know, if you give me a short answer question, I can explain the shit out of that. You give me multiple choice, a math equation where all this stuff, and it's like I struggle. It's like I got all these answers. Some of them are the same, but it's like I got to pick one. And it's like I feel like kids aren't allowed to think. You know, I don't want you to think for yourself. I want you to answer the question the way I want you to answer it. How do we get past this molding of let me think for you, and let kids think for themselves without tearing that down?
Without tearing it down, it really all depends on who has the most balls, I feel like. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who's going to take that step and say, I'm going to do this my way, and the way that's going to impact these children the most, and not what my job is telling me what to do. And to even go deeper into that, like, it's really all starts at the top. Like, it's kind of difficult to do it without gutting the system. Like, if it was possible to gut the system and come up, in my opinion, and come up with a curriculum where, like we just talked about, where they're learning how to grow food in kindergarten, they're learning how to read and write in kindergarten, basically basic needs to the world, like, and like transitioning that into middle school, into high school. Like, for example, like they want us to get our licenses at 16, but don't teach us to change a tire. Like, it's just, I think it's just that simple. Like, how I was like 18 when I changed a tire, I should have been knew how to do that. And like people will argue like, oh, that's your parents' job, et cetera, but not everybody has their parent around, which then would fall on the education system. That's what the child's dependent on. So I just think that that you should gut the system, but if there is a way to not gut the system, the teachers just have to be ballsy and do it how they want to do it. Take control of the situation. They're the teacher.
So essentially, arts and crafts and cooking classes should be also mandatory, not just
we did, like,
K through 6, but like middle school through high school.
Yeah, like in Beacon, we had home ec, and she taught it. Miss Stein, she's a great teacher. If anybody from Beacon watches this, they're gonna agree. She's a great teacher. She taught us how to shop. She always came in with some fly shit on, and was just always like, "Yo, this belt was $3, the shirt was $2, et cetera." Like teaching us that we don't always gotta have the flyest shit. It's just how you wear it, and like literally would take flyers and things like that and cut coupons out and shit, and just showing us how to live life, man. And like that's something that I remember to now, to where I'm older, where like if I'm trying to save some money and them coupons is there, you know what I'm saying? Like use them.
I think that this shows the impact of good teachers, dog. Cause like you just name dropping all your teachers, and I'm looking back at it, I could only name maybe 2 teachers. One was a black man, Mr. D, and that's it. Like a great teacher goes a long way.
For real, like for example, like my only black teacher that I had in my whole life was Mr. Hammond. Luckily, he grew up with my dad, so like I knew him previously. But like y'all already not gonna believe it, but he did a thing. He was a Spanish teacher, and he did a thing once a month where it's called Real Talk, and you put the desk in a circle, and he just mentally checks in with you the whole period. That's what he's doing the whole period. Like even when a lot of the racial things were going on, like before George Floyd, he would check in with us, like let people know. I've seen him check a white person for saying the N-word. You know what I mean? Like he's really, really invested in the children in that district. Like we need more Mr. Hammonds. Like things like that are things that I hold on to near and dear to my heart, because it's like, as a teacher, you just think that there are these adults that they're to tell you what to do. You're not really doing what you want to do. And then there's teachers like that where they're taking the time out of their day to nurture to you and cater to you as a student. And I think that shit is dope. And that's just how it needs to be.
Well, thank you, John. Thank you for sharing your time and expertise with us. Is there any last things that you want to say? Or if not, just plug your social medias, man.
Just to everybody watching. Well, first of all, thank y'all for having me. First of all, I really, really appreciate it. But I gotta say before I go, man, I'm not feeling none of that Brooklyn shit. Like I'm a Miami fan, so I'm not feeling none of them. I'm just putting that out there.
I'm sorry, bro. It's just a shirt. I don't give a fuck about the Nets.
Oh, all right. We on the same page.
So what you call it? It's a D'Angelo Russell shirt. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying?
I fuck with him. He nice.
His jersey right here. That's my guy. You know what I mean?
All right. I would just let you know. I would just put it out there. But
good, bro. Fuck Brooklyn.
But anybody watching, listen, man. I say it all the time. Step into your power, man. Do what you love, and fuck what everybody gotta say, man. Just keep doing you, and good things will come to you.